Hello there, it's Trade Spotting here to help with anything you might happen to be trading. Markets are closed on most things, but Bitcoin's open and it could easily, just a couple of things open, obviously. But Bitcoin, one of them, and this is an inverted head and shoulders. I don't know when we spoke about this, but it can't have been all that long ago. Inverted head and shoulders, here's the measured move that suggests that we could go on up to 16.8, and then we've currently made it to a golden pocket retracement and come back down again. We've also tested this previous high here. Had a bit of, touch into the bullish control zone. Subsequently, not much of a retracement, held this trend line underneath, and I think it's going to go and push up to 16.8, right? That's what I think is probably going to happen. On the Bitcoin, that's on a 15-minute time frame. Look at the 4 hour. There's a flash at 16,799, right? That's pretty much, you're kind of laughing there. And then a daily time frame, obviously there's a lot of things to look to. I'm not even going to bother with that in case, because everybody will know all this top secret stuff about Bitcoin bottoms. Hate that. And so, point being, downward sloping. Whoa, did it again. Loves that. Stop it. Stop behaving that way. So, Bitcoin, you can behave however you like. I wanted to get on the daily time frame and actually be able to see something. That would be nifty. Not all that different from the downward slope information you see on SPY. What's this guy? Oh, that was a prior support. This is this guy we're looking for. Easily get another touch on this thing and bring you down here. On the daily, I'd suggest even on the weekly, it's pretty obvious that Bitcoin needs to touch that line again before it makes any break to the top side of this formation. That's not to say it can't go to the top side, which really, let's be honest, is a very clear target for it at the minute, in around 22,000. Now, I know how that sounds, because the world's about to fall off a cliff, everything's about to die, yada yada, blah blah blah, right? And that's all fine. And I completely agree. I do completely agree. I've been speaking about this narrative for a while, and this is in the bearish control zone on a weekly time frame. And like I say, it needs another touch of this support underneath here, I'd say, before you just can kiss goodbye to this formation. But that doesn't mean it isn't going to come up and test the top side of it, which it also needs to touch on. To be, if then you were to subsequently get the third touch of the bottom and then break to the upside, you'd be like, well, that was perfect. And so anyway, basically, essentially, 200 period moving average is up there on the weekly. So if we did get any sort of a bottom information in around this vicinity, then it could easily be that it heads there. I'm not saying that you should then persist in a trade from, here, where you could easily get stopped out if you just jump in straight away without looking, and then take it all the way to 22,000. I'm not suggesting that, but there will be a framework where you could take a trade at various levels around here, where you'll have a safe area to have a stop loss, and it may well evolve into a nice trade, right? I'm not calling any bottoms because that's stupid, but what I am doing is saying, this is an inverted head and shoulders, and you probably get another chance at the thing. Look at this golden pocket, you come back down anywhere around 16, what's that, 653 or something? If you bounce from there, that'd be amazing. 4 hour time frame, you might not get that low. You've had a body close on the last 4 hour. Where was that? 16, 714, 713, somewhere around where you are at the minute. So you might not go that low. And the wick does take it quite much of a muchness in that direction. So maybe you've already got that touch off the 50 simple. That might be it. But, I do think that there's a potential trade in there. Might not be Bitcoin itself you're trading though. But that's interesting because, like I say, other markets closed, Bitcoin having a little bit of a reaction. What does that mean? Well, it's in a strong downtrend. So when those other dependent charts are closed and Bitcoin moves to the top side, well, you'd say that that was a little bit weary of that move because all the other markets are closed and it was a prevailing downtrend. If it was an uptrend and everything else was closed and Bitcoin was on the up, you'd say, yeah, totally cool. Gaps galore, who cares? Let's go for it. But it's not an uptrend. So that 22,000 target, bear in mind, right? It's not an uptrend. You would need to see other things changing for that to look good from here. And it doesn't necessarily at all. But the targeting at around 16.8. Quite easy, go on there and a bit further, right? Measured move. I mean, the reason there is a measured move, because of the inverted head and shoulders. And this is like quite conservative. I only used the bottom body. I didn't even use the wick. I mean, if you want to use the wick, you can. I've lost this guy in this forest. You're going to have to turn on your light bulbs. My wee man's lost in your hairy forest. Right, there we go. Hey. Woohoo. If I even hold this button, like 2 hands. Look, Mum, 2 hands. So there, and then you could, I mean, again, right, you could even extend it further because, like, technically it's already come down, tested support, which was the resistance, which was prior shoulder high. So, like, let's just do that just for the bands. Because we're here, you're not here all the time, Tree Spotter, and you're only live every so often, Tree Spotter. So let's say that that's also the breakout zone. That thing takes you back towards 17,000. Ha! Imagine, that'd be so funny. There's absolutely no real fundamental reason for any of that at all. But, technically, there it is, right? It gives you a risk reward and everything if you wanted. You could take one there. If you were to break below that 50 simple at this stage, you could probably say, don't want it. You could slap on a trade. Probably 3 or 4 different frameworks you get from that. First, spoke about it from the 50 simple, so we'll go with that. Bing. And then the next level here, you break below these important moving averages towards this 382, and you don't want that trade. And then we obviously don't think it's going all that high yet. Calm down, Spada. Something like that. That's a 5 to 1. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's tight enough stop. Sort of thing could turn around. Downtrend, bear that in mind. All the other charts are closed, and we're talking 4-hour time frame. So there you have it, right? Very much so. And if you saw that soul trade, thanks for watching, If I'd been doing that and let no one be watching, I probably would have just hung up my boots on the... So, anywho, 200 period moving average there. 1200 on Ethereum, that would be where it goes to. That's a big chunk. Not 1200 from here is nothing, but where do we think that the equivalent would be? I mean, I suppose we can have this guy on again. Not that he's necessarily got flashes on Ethereum right now for these time frames, but wouldn't it be great if he just showed up here and made my life so much easier? Which Fibonacci is that from this high? Okay, well, make it back above 1280. That's significant daily. That's where you 1310. So 1280 to 1310, perhaps the next area to move to. And if Bitcoin did move up, I'd expect you to get something similar to that or more on Ethereum. If it goes higher, obviously 1550 is what you're looking for on Ethereum. So what were we looking at there then? I was going to look at the Bitcoin dominance. Oops. Okay, now 50, I don't need these Bollinger Bands on, confusing the picture. 50 simple, approaching the 200 period moving average. You've got up here and managing to put in potential continuation divergence at this stage. 4 hour, not great that. Also not fantastic. So that would suggest that, the Bitcoin dominance doesn't look like it's about to imminently explode. And it could well persist around these levels or push a little bit higher. Maybe Ethereum could go up quite a wee bit or more. Will it go up more or less than Bitcoin? Is essentially the question I'm asking here. Does Ethereum push higher or 1690, 1630? Maybe we'll be reserved then with our targets across Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then I suppose perhaps you'll be interested in that SOL trade. I mean, based off all the cryptos that people talk about on here, that's all top of the list. It's at top of the list, so presumably a lot of people interested. This is the long-term trend, right? I've got a short position on things from up here, so that's protecting things. Daily time frame. Where do I got my drawn out? I thought I had it all drawn out. I did on the last live. You will come back here. 9 spot of 25. Could possibly go further, so bear that in mind. 15-minute time frame. We're currently trending away from that, But that is mid-level. From the entry we were speaking about 809. Stop at 8. That was mine. And then it went to 1120. And, so could well move on up. If you would be well advised to have a stop in at around 1080, and then if it comes back to these areas, don't necessarily think it's going to bounce straight up again because, as you see, I never closed my short during any of that. So that's interesting. Also, worth noting today, possibly if you're like me, is Eve Go. Still looks like it's doing quite strongly on RSI there on tiny time frames, hourly, into the bullish control zone, still holding. 4 hour time frame doesn't even look like it's there. It's not even getting started, right? So it could do further. 236 at this stage, up at $5 and change. So there's that to look at. Anyway, none of that's happening right now. But you might be interested. I'm interested in all these things, and things like these things. This morning, and any other morning. Hello, Mike Roach. How's it going? Good to see you. Hello, Sarah Rara. Hello, Pink Corrector. Hello, Colin. Hello, Mike from Sapporo. How's things in Sapporo? How's the weather in Sapporo? Where's everybody else from? Jay Fern. How's it going, Jay Fern? Eric, Guitar Outside DW. Great to see you. Space Banana. Great to see you. Hey. Squirrel, how's it going? Awesome, man. How are you doing, Squirrel? Great to see you. Happy New Year, Doomslayers. Wiki Wilkes. Antonia. Antoinette. Antoinette at OPZ. Happy Monday, Antoinette. We are graced with your presence. Happy Monday is right. Not much happening on the old markets, but then on the old market, the new markets, eh? And the new markets. Nick, great to see you. Great to see everybody. And there's TradeSpotting saying, spit that motherfucker. Well, there's nobody brighter than him. What else? I mean, you got this at 0.9. It's up at 0.1. That's not bad. There's a flashback up there. That's incredible. If you're looking at this, it's exciting. In the crypto market, it's the crypto market. This thing's made me loads. I have a particular fondness for this thing because it just makes loads. Pretty conforms technical analysis, like so good. Anyway, so there's lots of warning signs on the chart, but we'll not talk about those. Let's talk about previous success. Squirrel T all over the world. 13 months. Whoa, TradeSpotting, calm down, Spotasa. See, because I can see the trend. I have to adjust for current time frames. Squirrel Chi all over the world. That'd be pretty good, eh? Squirrel Chi. Sounds like tea, but it's not. Squirrel Chi. Chi. Can't cheat. Honest tea. Honest Squirrel Chi. Honest Chi. Right, so honesty, that's like D's tea. How's it been doing? Not so great. Also really good, handy for the old technical analysis. 44 views. Is that correct? We've had 44 views, 24 concurrent viewers. Wow. Well, people tuning in for the live price action. You see, they see the TradeSpotting. They're like, weighted markets are closed. I'm only here for the information as it happens. It's an uphill struggle. Right. So we covered these things. Ethereum, Bitcoin, dominance, a couple of cryptos outside of it. I mean, people you watch here probably interested in IMX. Quite clear trend in motion there. And then LRC. Where is LRC on this list? It's not done that amazing compared to other things there. What about those lines? And yeah. So, I mean, I can't even remember last time I looked at LRC, but you can see why I did it. So this also works for the technical analysis. Really good. Broke that level. Terrible. Also, my 200 period moving average was where it retested it. Look at that. So good. Lost to contemplate. Yeah. Thoughts on Mullen? Thinking of taking a position. Taking a position. Well, you've missed like the last 3 good moves. So, is that what's getting you excited? These are some thoughts on Mullen. Yo. What is it that's got you interested at the minute, and what sort of position are you thinking of taking? Just generally speaking, like, I think I might orientate myself towards some Mullen for the buy-ins. Yo, don't forget to like how's it going. I mean, my thoughts. My thoughts are you'll need to expand on your thoughts a whole lot more. That's what my thoughts are. Also, what is it that gets you interested at this particular moment? The recovery above the center line, the daily time frame. Price action is still here. Like, yeah, that's a higher low. That's interesting. 50% retracement against this high. Nearly, but not yet. It did do better. It got a golden pocket and then it fell back way down, right? This was like greater than 50% retracement from that oscillation, at which stage you'd be like, well, it doesn't look very bullish anymore. And then it looks like it's gone beyond the golden pocket. That's like an 886, 786. It doesn't necessarily look like it's done it. Suppose if you're looking at that and saying, what about the inverted head and shoulder spotter? Well, this is being a shoulder, but then that would constitute as this is part of the formation, which breaks this entirely. So then you're talking about this, but then that's so much lower. And despite the fact you've got a lower armpit, you have a higher shoulder, right? So it's like a deformed right-hand side of his body with a nice left-hand side of his body. It doesn't work, right? So that's not a shoulder. And then, nor is this then a bottom of formation. But that's like a couple of inflexive moves. I mean, in terms of a 4 hour, volatility is still building, but like that was the last one more breath after this. It's not waving, it's drowning. But we'll see. I mean, that's not true, right? That was just me making a joke. Yeah, Mullen. So are we even on Mullen? Yeah, we are. Right, downsloping trend, lower highs, lower lows, bullishly divergent. That's most recent one. 200 period moving average reaction once, likely again. I'd say if you're looking at taking a trade on Mullen, probably better. You're probably looking for it to make a move. So, and at the minute, it looks like it's limited to going to like maybe, I mean, that's quite high. Trying 4 again, if it is to try 4 again, that is quite high. I'm not going to rule it out, right? 200 period moving average, it's already at the first place where if it was only going to get there and come home, it's there. Like if it's left, like Kevin, if that now, you can just turn back, come home, no problem. There'll be no trilogy, never mind whole movie. There won't be a whole movie, even never mind trilogy. Trace one, get it right. You're above the moving average there, Norris. That's very strong. That's very strong, and that's continuation divergence. Should this have been an uptrend? Though it's not. It's not at all. And like it's got it here on the top side of this thing, and that's like quite a deep move. So, quite a strong move since. Moving averages, positive posturing. 4 hour time frame, you're above the 50 simple, but 200 period average, it's like doesn't look amazing. Max pain this week is a 13 highest put open interest at 10, which is interesting. Well, that's because it's this week, isn't it? And, people anchor in a lot of different positions in and around this particular close, which, if they're like long-standing positions, which you would have an idea of had you been checking open interest continually for the last number of weeks, then you'd say hasn't changed. It's historical and it's part of positions that are probably not necessarily going to impact on price action as much as perhaps other times. But then, like you're saying, is it this you're talking about? Because if the max pain is at 10 on this, then I'd say that's very likely based on prior price action and nothing to do with what's been going on recently. Because 10, like what? It's like 50x or whatever the hell that is. So, I mean, no, read up, Jimmy. Read up. They see this is a thing. I never learned to do that. You'll have to learn me. Thoughts on Mullen thinking of taking a position? I can read down from here. Lots to contemplate. Yes, there are lots to complicate. Always remember and don't forget to like. You can't forget to like. I'm looking to buy in at 20 cents. Oh, right. I see that now. Looking in at buying in into 20 and then very simple in at around those levels. Another test. Sure, if you want some, I mean, that's an area that makes sense. Support. In terms of the risk, if it goes back below 20 cents there, I mean, to get it right on 20 cents, let's just zoom in and stop being so parsimonious, with the pixels. Parsimonious with the pixels. As you can see, sir, you probably will get that entry, sir, because Rocky Outcrop's got a indicator there, sir. Yeah. And your attitude or period moving average on those time frames, you've got your continuation divergence, you're falling out of the bullish control zone. If you don't hold that center line, then you'll test this 50 simple, and that's below the prior support. So you're probably continuation until such time as you reach 50% on the Fibonacci, which I can tell you out now exactly how this thing's going to go. Is then, then your next stop's 0.25, and then that's probably not going to hold. Golden pocket retracement in 0.2361 is also where the 200 period moving average will be when price action meets it. That probably does bounce at that stage. You'll be putting in a third high, which will form a trend line down here, and that'll take it on rejection on down, and rejection from that will take it on to 0.2. You'll get your entry if it slips anywhere below that flash at 0.2065. And then afterwards, maybe if you're bullish, it's a downtrend, and that'll be a move in keeping with that trend, which is down, that takes you to that entry, which is fantastic, right? That we can do that. That's pretty amazing. Other people out here are going to lose their life savings on this thing, and they're not watching the show, and we already know what's going to happen. But there is no certainties, but it's very likely. And then, and if it doesn't, right, great, because that's really significant at every one of those levels, and that's what I was saying, right? That's essentially the point I was making. First one, 236 there, break that. 50 simple, break that, it's a 382. 50% retracement's really where you're hoping for it not to go any below, or if you're actually bullish already. If it doesn't break, hold there. Golden pocket's also where the 200 period moving average will be, and then below that you can be looking for an 886, but this flash is below that, so this move is like not bullish. It's a lower high with a retracement back towards this low, fill a gap there. Tiny time frames, doesn't look like it's brilliant, So that's what I'm thinking. That's very, very good help. That's very good help there, sir. Was taking BBBY, sorry, thanks there. Totally welcome, buddy. I thought Bibba Dibba was the Justin Bieber song. BBBY. XYZBBYZ, baby. Yeah, it's that one. It's that, the wrong alphabet song. Massive hit. Been buying below 0.2, dumping above 0.3. Hey, Mike, that's pretty big range. Well done, sir. Do that a few times, right? You're pretty much an expert on Milne. Any thoughts on CEG going into February earnings? Their cash flow is shite and they keep going up. Well, because you used an E on the end of that word, then yeah, we'll check it out. But typically with a pale-faced at this time of the year, I'd be saying something like, ciao! Why are you pale-faced? You need to get more vitamin D, sir. CEG. Oh, I made it. Constellation Corporation. We sell planets on the seashore. She sells... Somebody else is out there selling planets cheaper. Better planets for less. Get your planets for less. Get your planets for less. So, I mean, like... There was... Once upon a time, there was this thing, and it bounced crazy. What? Here, what? Yeah. So this is when they clearly actually did somehow acquire a planet, and then probably people were like, "Hey, you're never going to be able to sell the whole planet held to 200 period moving average." You reckon? And then up it goes again. Continuation divergence. Why not try again? Back to your prior eye, buddy. Bearishly divergent. Let's come back down again. Find that 200. Whoop. But there it is. And then another one of these gaps. And after that, what happens to this thing, right? They obviously, Kane acquired another planet. Everyone back here was like, well, we didn't think they could sell the whole planet. And then they did. And now they've got another one. You sure you want to? Everyone was like, no way, those guys sell planets. So then it's up here selling more planets. And then, yeah, I mean, it's all a scam though, isn't it? I mean, there's not really, you can't sell planet, don't be silly. So when's it coming back, essentially? That's what you're asking. I'm asking when it breaks 76, I'd be like, people are going to know that it's Emperor's New Clothes, I mean, right? And then that gap, that'll be filled in the 50% retracement. So, break that 236, you'll just go and fill that gap, probably. I mean, I say probably, there's no probably. What you like, trade bond? Getting carried away now, right? Hang on a trade bond sauce. So yeah, I mean, if this all looks like a nice place to manage your risk around 76, what do I think it's going to do into February? Volatility is about to go fucking mental. What do I think about it there? Oh my god, here. Yeah, if this doesn't go up, it's screwed. Screwed. You're already below the 200 period moving average in a 4 hour time frame because this has been a redonkulous trend, and you've come back here, you've tested that high. That's ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Trade spotter. Sorry. This is what I think here. This is what I think is over here. I didn't realize it was in the past, but it is. What I think is, You got beyond your 86, not bad. That was just a retracement back to your prior idle. Boom. Here. Whoa. Nasty. Right, so it either continues, which this is an area for it to do that from, or it completely and utterly decides, it's like, what the hell was I even trying for? Like, what was I even trying for there? Close that gap. Oh no, that was bad. That was bad. And then you lost the 200 period moving average after that, so that's bad. And then volatility, like we're saying there, look at that, folks. Ha! He's got an eye for it. He's got it. Maybe he's born with it. Boom. Told you. When I was born, right, the umbilical cord, blood up, knocked the nurse's hat off. And she was like, ha ha ha, laughing at that. And I was like, what you laughing at? And then she was all shocked and everything. And anyway, I got up and went home and started trading. And since then, to this very day, I've looked at that 200 period moving average and I've been like, boom, see when it gets cut, it's just like umbilical, it's going to knock someone's hat off, this thing. Just as that, that's what I've only had like a couple of cups of tea since then. Talking baby. Talking baby. Do you think Jimmy will move this month? Yeah. Alex, also known as Alex. Do you think Jimmy will move this month? Aye. I think it'll go to, I mean, do you mean how much? I think it'll at least go to 22. And I think on the downside, quite highly likely it goes to 16. 50. Yo, this month. I mean, yeah, outside of that. Well, it depends. I'm not 100% sure. There is a totally transcendent species of alien that has auctioned off Earth as pretentious art installation. Nice. Ooh. So we're like, what are they called there? What are those things called? We've asked this question before, haven't we? We forget the words around here. Civ brains, we are. What's that thing called? Where you go and look at things and they're all in their little glass things. A menagerie, that's what it is. Jimmy moves every day. Alex didn't move today though, so rah rah rah. Every day, Alex, we got some targets for the week, but they're not dramatic moves. Yes, Alex, I've done a big video on Jamie today on the old Patreon. So if you're a Patreon member, you get your ass over there and watch that video and let me know what you think. It's 15 minutes of proper good Jamie analysis in there. You know? That's what you're thinking. Oh, I forgot I didn't do it on this video. Of course, that's why you're asking, Alex. That's why you're asking. Don't you? Dear TA God, at Jimmy, please look at 1 hour time frame for Oh, you're back here again. Direction 1 hour time frame. Well, there's a 4 hour. That looks fantastic. It's hard to argue with this thing, isn't it? I mean, you will be able to argue with it. Yeah, you could argue with it right now, but that continuation there, whoop, below the center line, surprise. So that's like all about what it does here, you know. 50 simple. If it recovers a 50 simple, come back up, and you probably close the gap at 53.10. That gap starts at 49.68. Already very close to where you are at the minute. So I wouldn't be looking to trade this from here. If it manages to break to 53, then it'll probably go to the 56 and then be bearishly divergent and fall over or continue. And at that stage, it probably offers up a better trade, you know, should it get somewhere back to around here. Because should it go beyond this level, then, you know, it's going up. And if it goes back down, should it get to this level, boom, and break that gap, that which is now an inflection point, it'll go back to this low that's at the minute, and that's maybe a better trade because like much higher probability of that than just any random. You never even give me an idea. So like, and then if it does break that, it'll go and test the 200 period moving average. If it breaks up from here, gets into this gap here, and doesn't break at the top side, gets to the top side here, and then gets rejected, then it will not hold this current support, and it'll go and test that 200 period moving average. So that's what you're looking at in terms of this thing for the best trade on the early at the minute. Pull out, pull out, pull out. Okay, not yet. Yes, okay. Yeah, so I mean that's your critical level there, in it, right? Where price action is at the minute, in fact, and at around $50. So and it's underneath that. So like that's that. I mean, I'd be very, very, very weary of anything else. And if you're in it since previous, then good work, sir. Very, very good work, sir. Shut up, boiler. So daily time 4 hour. Well, it's you tell me, computer. If the yeah, hello 200 period moving average. Yeah, so this just showed up, right, which is quite another interesting point when the 200 period moving average shows up. Often when a chart's done something not dissimilar to this, something like even better than this, and then a 200 period moving average shows up, boom, on like a time frame where obviously, I mean, it hasn't had it before, right? So like it's not had it on anything above the 4 hour, right? It's had it on the 2 hour, but it's only had right, and now because it takes twice as much, so hence that it showed up now, boom. And then what is like a little bit of a reality check, because people are always like, not everybody looks at everything. Most people who trade would typically be new and don't look at anything and then lose all the money. So, there's a big chunk of them. And then loads of people don't look at the same indicators we would or look at the same artifacts on the charts as us. And typically, they certainly don't all understand them to the same level or use them in the same way. No critique there, just saying. And very simple 200 period moving average, whatnot. They're important when they first show up, and this has been doing this. It's like a little bit of reality check. There's your trend, right? Your trend, like you didn't test that till 30, and it's currently at 49, having been at 56. So it's 16 off. It's a log chart. We put it on linear. Yep. All the drawings come back. What's that noise? All the drawings go away again. Yo! It looks a lot more dramatic, doesn't it? Ugh. So I suppose you'd be like worried. Yeah, I mean, it looks like 40, doesn't it? It definitely looks like that. If it doesn't hold this level 40, even on the log linear, it looks pretty obvious. Oof. Anyway, it's very new. So all these swings would be with that sort of thing. 4 hour there. Where's your mean, right? You've got higher lows, higher highs. Prior high before this, or most recent breakout, is in at around 40. So and there's an inflection point there with the potential bull flag having like tested resistance, support, bounced away, but like not far after that previous pattern. Boom, it's going to go up. That's the place to check there at 40 for the next moves. If it moves up from here, like I say, that's limited to there. So that's what we're thinking. 1 out of 20. 1 out of 20. Hold the phone. There's a totally transcendent species. We've got that one already. Did I miss anything? I don't think I missed anything. First show of the year. First live show of the year. And we did first Patreon show of the year earlier. So that's positive. I've done those things. Where is that what I was looking for? Just a check. Red squirrel. Squirrel chill over 13 months. Great to see it. And then the last message was also of anniversary of Freitag, though. Cool. So that's it. Thanks very much. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do these things, to have the best impact. And like, I'm everybody's friend, and if you are everybody's friend or the best friend to everybody, maybe you're not being your best friend to yourself. So I have to figure out the best way to do these shows, I've well and truly proved the benefit of never breaking the chain and so on, but to make it all work. You can all help me make it work by becoming a member of the channel, supporting me on Patreon, or feeling that being on Rocky Outcrop's Patreon, where you'll get the best value for it. If you're thinking you can only subscribe to one thing or one place, that's the best place for you, and you can definitely help support the channel anyway. It's appreciated, and it's the people who keep it going. So if you don't see anybody doing it,